Hey witches, welcome to Busy, Gritty, Inked and Witchy, a magical living podcast for the busy witch. I'm Morgan, eclectic witch of almost 25 years, Avalon priestess, and busy witch. Here we'll talk all things witchy, from current metaphysical happenings to my busy witch tips and tricks, and everything in the in-between. This podcast is my personal journey, filled with my knowledge, opinions, and unique way of looking at the world. Join me as I weave the magical and the mundane in every episode. Hey witches, welcome back to Busy, Gritty, Inked and Witchy. I'm Morgan, and today I have another synchronous episode for you all. This is pretty cool that this has now happened twice this year. I'm going to be talking about the burned out witch today, but it goes along with something that happened earlier this year where I wanted to do an episode on my psychic journey. And I went back because I was like, I think I've done this before. And I went back into my archives and saw that it was about a year to the day that I had done a similar episode. So earlier this year, I did my psychic journey. It was like an update. But the episode from a year before that was all about how frustrated I was with my psychic journey. And then the episode this year is how I broke through those frustrations, those limiting beliefs, really freed myself and opened up my spirituality and my psychic abilities again. And I'm very grateful for this podcast for so many reasons, but if nothing else, for that reason of this podcast has given me a timeline for things because I'm so open and I talk about everything on it. It really has been a great record keeper for me to chart my journey. And that's what's happened again today. So I woke up this morning and I was like, what the fuck am I going to talk about on my podcast this week? And I was really called, what I've been working with all weekend is reframing some burnout. I can feel this burnout coming on. And I've already taken some steps to counteract it, but I was really focusing on that this weekend and reframing different things in my life and looking at things from fresh perspective. And what I realized was I was like, shit, I think I've already done an episode on burnout before. And I was like, what the hell? Like, when was this? So I went back through my archives and it just so happens that what I aired on June 22nd, 2022 was an episode called Burnout, and it was episode number 63. It was only 10 minutes long, so I re-listened to it. And it reminded me that this is the halfway point of the year. The solstice is the halfway point. So a lot of people, a lot of witches are taking a look at their year so far. And they had goals and they started out running at the beginning of the year, like, let me get this done and this done and this done. And here we are at the halfway point. So if you're naturally reaching this pausing point or you're burned out, it could be like a seasonal thing because you're reflecting on the last 6 months, but you're also trying to look forward to the next 6 months, you know? But I could not believe because now you know that I'm recording this a couple of days before it airs because today is June 22nd, 2025. And I know this will air on 23rd, 24th, 25th. I think it will air. But I thought it was just so crazy that I did this same episode or a similar episode because of course I'm going to update it and I have actually lots of constructive stuff for this episode this time. Because I'm in a totally different place than I was 3 years ago. So June 22nd of 2022, just a 10-minute episode talking about burnout. And now here we are 3 years later, much different place, but I wanted to talk about the same topic. Of course, weaving in my personal story, but this one, for today's episode, I'm going to be talking to you about burnout and identifying it within yourself, witchy ways to reset it, and why I think that witches may be able to sense burnout before other people. So I am really excited that I was able to do this. And I'm so happy that I had that episode from 3 years ago because I was like super burned out. When I re-listened to it, I was like, oh my God, I remember the things that were happening back then. And I was like, wow, to just have documented that. And now here I am 3 years later, knowing that I'm in such a different place. It was crazy. It was great. Okay. I loved it. All right. So that's what I'm talking to you about today. The burned out witch, I am giving this a witchy slant. I'm going to give you witchy ways to reset yourself. Okay. So let's jump in. All right. So 3 years ago, much different than now. And actually, I might even be different from now to when this episode airs over the next 3 days, because I am so in tune with myself. I have spent, pretty much my entire spiritual self, like my spirit, last 25, 26, 27 years, really getting in tune with myself. But especially in the last year, I've been on this huge transformational journey. So I am so in tune with myself that I can start to feel when that burnout sets in just a little. Okay. I have felt this coming on. So I've already scheduled a burnout healing session with Ms. Megan Winkler. This is not what this episode was about, but I'm going to give her a shout out, and I'm going to tell you, she calls it a burnout healing session. It's at meganwinkler.com. I haven't had it yet, but I can already highly recommend it. But I felt this coming on. I felt this shift within me to like, oh my God, I feel myself about to burn out. So I went ahead last week and scheduled my session for this week with her. And then I also have this week coming up a group business coaching. I'm part of a group business coaching program. And so I have one of those episodes, and I can bring one of those episodes. I have one of those sessions coming up as well. So I can bring it up if I want to. So just because I have already been feeling this shift within me, I've already taken proactive steps, which have not happened. They will have happened by the time this episode comes out. So hopefully I will maybe even update you all, like after the episode comes out, maybe Wednesday afternoon, I'll do a story or something saying I'm even better than I was on Sunday the 22nd when I recorded this. But just first and foremost, this is why it is so important to get to know yourself, your personal energetic ebbs and flows. Okay. When you get to know yourself, you can sense when things are coming on. You can sense when things are off, when something is not your normal energetic shift. Okay. So this is why getting in tune with yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually is so important. And I cannot stress that enough, because it has changed me as a fundamentally as a human being. It has changed me. I am more in tune with myself physically, to where when I'm talking, when I know something's off, I can convey that to doctors and be like, hey, something is not right physically with me. This is out of my norm. Okay. I have also realized that being so in touch with myself, in tune with myself, now that I've opened myself up psychically, comes in so handy, because I can tell, especially like when I'm doing tarot readings, I'll have a sensation or something come in, and I'm like, that is not mine. That is the person I'm reading for. Or, when I'm around other people, I know which emotions are mine. I know which are not mine, because I am empathic as well. So being in tune with yourself and understanding your basic energetic ebbs and flows helps you on so many different levels. Okay. And just the more you get to know yourself, the more that you can tap into your own power, your own energy, your own magic. You can amplify it. You know that you've got your back. You become your biggest cheerleader. So just figuring yourself out as far as like knowing who you are mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and physically is one of the biggest pieces of advice I can possibly give you is do it. Get to know yourself. The ebbs, the flows, the ups, the downs, the ins, the outs, the larges, the smalls, all of it. Okay. So when you are a burned out witch, you may have more signs than the average person that you're about to burn out because of your spiritual practice. Okay. So when you're burned out in general, okay, it's a lot. I talked about it in the last episode, or in episode 63. It feels a lot like depression. So if you have depression, it can be that. But again, I am so in tune. I can tell the difference between depression kicking in or burnout kicking in. Okay. But when you are burned out, you're tired, be like hibernating, emotional, You probably procrastinate a lot of things, even things that once brought you joy. You probably push off because you just can't. You don't feel like it. You're unmotivated, and basically everything feels like a burden. Everything feels like more weight on your shoulders. And that's a really good way of identifying burnout is, does this task make it just feel like another thing that's weighing me down? Even if it's something that brings you joy, okay? So regular people will get burnout because of work, life, home life, personal life. And like that's their thing, work, home, personal, like that covers it. Okay. But we spiritual people, we witches, we have that other layer of where our spiritual selves are a part of who we are, a huge part of who we are. Okay. So then you have practices, you have your work life, you have your home life, you have your personal life, you also have your spiritual life. Okay. So maybe there are practices you do every day that you love. Maybe you pull cards every morning and you love doing this. Maybe you meditate every day and you love your 5 minutes of peace. And all of a sudden, the thought of pulling a card is just one more thing to do and it's weighing you down. The thought of taking 5 minutes to meditate, even though you love doing it, it's just one more fucking thing for you to do, okay? Then you know that you are burning out, all right? Maybe you are happy doing full moon and new moon rituals, and maybe moon magic is your thing, okay? Maybe kitchen witching, is your thing, doing kitchen witchery. And now all of a sudden the full moon comes around and you're like, fuck it, I don't even have the energy. I don't have the desire. This is just one more thing on my fucking to-do list. Or you're in the kitchen and you're like trying to get inspired if you're a kitchen witch and you love cooking, you love baking, you love doing that. And you're just staring at a pantry like, I don't know what the fuck to cook today. Maybe these are signs you are burned out, even if it's just for one day. You can get burned out for a day. You can get burned out for a lot longer. Okay. Or maybe performing a quick spell or doing witchy shit just feels like something else for you to do. Okay. Let me flip my notebook. These are all ways that you as a spiritual person or as a witch might have inklings, because your spiritual practice is supposed to feel amazing. Your spiritual practice is supposed to make you happy. Your spiritual practice is supposed to make you feel witchy as hell, and something that is a part of you, but is a welcome part of you. It's a part that makes you feel alive. Okay. So if your spiritual practice does not make you feel alive, you might be burned out. Okay. And I even did a whole episode. I have no idea when, and I have no concept of time. I feel like it's been a while now, on like when your spiritual practice does not make you, like when it needs to be revamped and how to revamp that. Okay. So that's why I think that witches can probably identify a burned out state maybe before a mundane person can, someone who's not magical. Okay. Because if you're also burned out by your spiritual practice, then you're definitely burned out overall in life. Okay. So the first step is to identify the burnout state, okay? And that is as simple as, man, I'm burned out. Or I'm about to be burned out as fuck. I can feel it coming on, okay? The key to this, all right, is don't shame yourself or feel guilt, because shit happens, okay? You have ebbs and flows. Ebbs are when your energy pulls back, and flows are when your energy flows forward. That's what an ebb and a flow is. So burnout is an ebb state. You're pulling your energy back, you're low energy. And a flow state is a high energy state, okay? Shit happens. You have ebbs and flows. Do not beat yourself up about it. Do not feel shame. Don't shame yourself. Don't talk shit to yourself, okay? If you had a friend that was burned out and was coming to you to talk and, be like, oh my God, I'm so burned out right now. This is what's going on in my life. What are you going to do? Your friend. You are going to love them. You are going to hug them. You might even be like, girl, we are going to schedule a chick flick day. I'm bringing donuts and you make the popcorn and let's just be, and let's just have you feel comforted and supported. Okay. Or you're at least going to listen to them. Are you going to sit there and tell her, oh, you're stupid for fucking being burned out right now? Fucking snap it together and just shove your feelings down and move on, bitch. You're not going to tell her that. So why are you going to do it to yourself? Okay. Do the same for yourself. Love yourself unconditionally. Unconditionally means you love yourself when you look fabulous and you feel high vibe and you are stunning and you love yourself. Loving yourself unconditionally also means that you are loving yourself when you look and feel like a bog witch who has not showered in 3 days, who wants to scream at their guides, and who wants to hibernate in their bed and just eat Cheetos. Okay? You love yourself unconditionally. You love yourself in both states. Okay? You cannot shift a state until you acknowledge it. Okay? I'm going to say that again. You cannot shift a state from an ideal one to from a non-ideal state to an ideal state unless you acknowledge it first. Okay? And you can shift a state quicker once you acknowledge it and love yourself in that state. Okay. This is coming from my business coach. This is something that I did not truly understand until you understand it. Okay. When you are burned out and you are feeling like shit, and you're probably starting to have those, oh my God, why am I burned out? I shouldn't be burned out. I should be doing this, and all of that starts racing through your heads. If you pause and say, whoa, oh, I'm burned out right now. And you know what? That's okay. This is an ebb period for me. And I love myself when I'm in a flow. I love myself when I'm in an ebb as well. The quicker that you can acknowledge the burned out state and then love yourself while in the burned out state, the quicker that you will be able to shift it to something more ideal. Okay? So if this takes time, this takes time. It does get quicker the more energetic work that you do and the more that you love yourself in that unideal state, quote unquote, unideal state, it does get quicker. And especially it gets quicker to identify the unideal state. So if you are in an unideal state, you are burned out, you are low energy, and you don't want to be, okay? And the quicker that you acknowledge it and love yourself in this state and understand that it's an ebb and that you are an ebb and a flow, the quicker you acknowledge it, the quicker it is that you can embrace it so that you can move forward. Okay. But if this takes time, it takes time. Please don't ever rush yourself. Because then that's a should, and then that just causes more guilt and shame and bullshit. So you have to fully feel, you have to fully experience, you have to be ready to let go. If there's a part of you that's pushing yourself out of this state as well, then that means that there's a part of you still in the state that wants to be in the state. You want to be the bog witch that has not showered in 3 days and is eating Cheetos for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay. There's part of you that wants that rest and that relaxation. So if you're trying to push the bog witch out of bed to go take a shower, she's going to just probably claw your eyes out and try and get right back into bed. Okay. She's feral. All right. You need to just let her be until she's ready to make the decision herself to go take a shower and stop eating Cheetos. Okay. All right. So now I have 4 witchy ways to reset. Okay. So there's plenty of ways to reset burnout. There's plenty of ways to try and get yourself out of burnout, but we're witches. I'm here to talk to you about the metaphysical. I'm here to talk to you about witchy ways to do this. Okay. Number 1 is sensory grounding. Okay, you want to activate all 5 or 6, since we're witches, of your senses. What that does is it brings you back into the present. I'm actually tricking you on how to be mindful and bring yourself back into the present. Okay, which I will talk about here in a little while, why I believe that is my key to the fact that I've gone long periods of time without burnout, or my burnout ebbs are a hell of a lot less shallow than they used to be. I used to have like the roller coaster of high mountains and low valleys. And then my burnout sessions would last a month, where I would just want to lay in bed for a month and cry. And now I'm like a little kiddie roller coaster, one of them easy ones that like a 4-year-old can ride. Yeah. All right. So sensory grounding, activate all 5 or 6 of your senses. The first one is smell. The combination of lavender and peppermint can help calm and focus you. And I personally use citrus to uplift. So if I'm starting to feel a little burnout, I will just cut open a lemon or an orange and sniff away. Yeah. Sight, witchy ways. Of course, we're talking witchy. Gazing into a candle flame, or get lost in your favorite scrying gemstone, your favorite crystal ball, your favorite palm stone, your favorite quartz that just has all kinds of inclusions in it. Visually, or a candle flame, because I'm a little pyro. Either one of these visually will reset you into the present if you set it in front of you and then focus on it. Okay. Sound, a singing bowl, is pretty witchy. Bells help cleanse energy as well, or you can just put on your favorite song or favorite witchy playlist. Touch, grounding gemstones such as hematite, obsidian, smoky quartz can help to touch them or feel them. They'll help ground your energy down. Uplifting gemstones include carnelian and fire agate. And then I personally use lepidolite for peace. So lepidolite will ground you, but it will also calm you and give you, but it also opens up like your spiritual centers as well. So I love lepidolite for that. And then taste, peppermint tea is very uplifting. It's soothing and uplifting at the same time. Of course, if you feel like you need to soothe more or calm more, lavender or chamomile tea. And then a citrus or spice tea will help uplift you. Okay. Also, your favorite, like if you have a brownie that you love, or cookie, or some chips or something. I mean, whatever is going to bring you comfort as well. But I was trying to go a little witchy with the teas. And then spiritually, pull a card. Open your deck and pull something, even if it's just for guidance for like that moment, or meditate for a few minutes, or just open yourself up, to your guides and say, hey, what do I need to know right now? So that's a way to reset using sensory grounding. Number 2, a little fun ritual, less than 5 minutes. A witchy thing that you can do is you can light a candle, black to absorb the burnout, yellow for clarity, or orange for creativity, depending on where you're wanting to go with this. But you can light a candle, take 3 deep breaths, and write, I release what drains me, I reclaim what feeds me, onto a piece of paper. And you can either burn it safely in a fireproof dish, or if you are just stressed as shit, rip that bitch up into a bunch of little tiny pieces, get out all your frustration, then take it outside and release it into the wind. Yeah, it's biodegradable. It's paper. You're good. So that's just a fun little witchy ritual that you can do to try and reset. Number 3, you can look at yourself in the mirror and say, I rest, I rise, I reclaim my fire. I rest, I rise, I reclaim my fire. Or whatever other affirmation or something mantra just really clicks with you. I actually use, when I'm feeling anxious, when I'm feeling a little burned out, anxious, mostly burned out, because that's what I've been feeling coming on. There is a song by Sahara Rose called Trust Flow. And in it, she says, trust, flow, surrender, let go. She goes on to say, I'm the one I've been waiting for. But I really love that. There's a rhythm to the trust, flow, surrender, let go that I fucking love. And I wish that she would just take the trust, flow, surrender, let go, and loop it for about 9 minutes. And I would probably reach a state of deep meditation if I were to listen to that over and over again, where I could probably astral travel. I'm just saying. Or see the goddess herself. Maybe see heaven. See if that exists. I feel like I could go so deep into meditation, I could see the future too. Anyway, the song is called Trust Flow by Sahara Rose. I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. Anyway, any other affirmation, but make sure that when you're saying it in the mirror, you're looking yourself in the eyes. Yeah. And then number 4, you can ask your guides or your higher self to help. Honestly, I do this all the time. Sit in your sacred space, cry, scream, get it out. Whatever it is you need to like get out of you. Okay. It could be maniacal laughter. I'm serious. Like a crazy, like the Joker of the Batman series. And you're just sitting there like you're in Arkham Asylum, just laughing your fucking ass off. Okay. Sometimes like that's happened for me. That's why I brought it up. All right. Sit in your sacred space, cry, scream, whatever, and then ask, what do I need to know right now? What do I need to hear right now? Okay. And then open yourself to answers, things to pop in your head, open yourself up for messages like the next time you scroll on social media or a song that plays on the radio or something, but just like be open for messages however they come to you. Okay. So those are the 4 witchy ways to reset. The last part of this episode, I just have some mundane helpers for burnout because you still need to if you're going to do the magic and the energy work, you should also take care of it in the physical as well. So the first one, identify the source of your burnout, whether it is a job, home, are you feeling underappreciated? Are you overworked? Like what is the source, honestly, of your burnout? Okay. And if it is a thing or a set of things, or if it's a part of your work, like, can it be delegated? What can you change? Like if you're not happy with an aspect of your life, how can you change it to be happy again? Okay. Number 2, set boundaries. I'm going to say something that some of you are going to be like, you can say no without guilt or explanation. Yeah, especially if you're like, I understand I'm a millennial. I get it. I get told that all the time. I identify as a Gen Xer though. But we were not raised we were raised to bend over, especially in the South, bend over backwards for everyone else at the cost of yourself. And if anybody asks of anything of you, you say yes. And if you have to say no, you 100% give an explanation so that they know what you're doing. Yeah, you don't have to. Okay. You can say no without guilt or an explanation to anything. You can do the bare minimum and still be magical. So if you think that, oh my God, I can only be a witch if I'm doing full moon rituals outside and I'm doing this and every single day I'm pulling this and every single day I'm doing this, and you just don't have the energy, you can still be magical and fucking just light a candle. Light a stick of incense, you're being magical. Okay. And, work during work hours. Like these are all under setting boundaries. These are things I had to learn myself. So these are why I can point them out specifically to you all. Work during work hours. Unless there's a literal fire or like an alarm that goes off at a store, or there is the deadline that you missed. And then like, if you don't make the deadline, you might lose your job kind of thing. Like, unless there's no fires to put out, work during work hours. Okay. Number 3, stay present and do one thing at a time. This is my own personal advice to you. Okay. I get asked all the time, probably the number 1 question that I get asked, especially by Coven members, is how do you do everything that you do? Because I do a lot. I run a business and, that comes with several different aspects of things that I have to get done. But I also binge watch television and I play lots of video games, and I have people ask me all the time, like, do you not sleep? I'm like, no, I love sleep. I love sleep. In fact, if I don't get sleep, I'm crabby. And I work out, and I do all of these things because I stay in the present, and I rarely multitask anymore. Okay. I give everything that I do 110%, and that includes rest. Okay. So that is how I do everything that I do, is when I am, for example, writing and recording a podcast, I'm writing and recording a podcast 100%. I don't know if it showed up in the audio or if the noise cancellation filter that I put on this is going to, or if you heard the Goonies, what sounded like the Goonies opening scene about 15 minutes ago, that was 100% my phone in the other room. And you can see I kind of stumbled because I was like, who's calling me? My phone never rings unless it's, scammers. But anyway, when I'm here, I'm here. So I will turn off my phone when I'm working, or I'll turn the ringer down. So when I'm doing something, I'm giving it 110%, and I am focused on that one thing at a time. Okay, that is another thing. I know that a lot of people think multitasking is great. Like, oh my God, I can do so many things at once. But I think I said it last week, or I said it maybe in the Patreon bonus content a couple of weeks ago. When you are multitasking, you're only half focusing on several things. So the chances for messing up are pretty big, I always, I'm the only one in my family. Well, there's me, my husband, and my son, because my daughter's not living with us. So in my house, out of the three of us, I'm the only one that when we go to watch a television show or a movie, I put down my phone. I put it on another table. I lose it in another room. My son and my husband both will scroll on their phone while watching a movie or a television. And I am famous for being a dick. And when a joke comes up, I will over laugh at the joke so that they both go, oh, what did they say? And then they put their phone down and they're like, oh, rewind it. I missed what they said. And I'm like, well, if you were paying attention and you weren't on your phone, you would have fucking heard the joke. And then they rewind it. They're like, that wasn't even that funny. I'm like, I know. But you wouldn't have known that if you weren't on your phone. So, these are things, this is staying in the present. This is doing one thing at a time. This keeps you, because it also helps you focus on one task at a time, which gets them crossed off quicker. And then the more that you're crossing off, the more weightless you feel. You feel like you're getting shit done. You feel less burned out because you have less weighing on you. Okay. And then number 4, talk to someone. If you have a therapist, talk to them. If you have a best friend, talk to them. If you have a spouse, talk to them. Tell them, I'm feeling burned out. I'm feeling stressed as fuck right now. Maybe I need some time off. Maybe I need to go do this. Maybe I need to go lay in bed with a bowl of Cheetos and be a bog witch. I'm going to go do that for just a little while right now. Okay? Talk to someone and let them know. So that you can be given the time that you need to process through shit. Okay? All right. Yay! So for my Patreon bonus content this week, I actually have shadow working journal prompts to help my Patreon members identify the source of burnout and really work through it on that level so that they can identify the state, the cause, and maybe get through it a little quicker, So with the paid Patreon membership, it's actually any tier will get you the podcast bonus content. So the cheapest tier is $5 a month. But you can head to patreon.com/inkedgoddesscreations to look at the different tiers and sign up for one. If it is a paid tier, you also get a shout out on my podcast. So I want to thank Jean and Ms. M. I love it. So mysterious. For being new paid Patreon members. Thank you so much for helping support me as a witchy content creator. So yeah, you can head there, sign up for that. And if you enjoy my vibe, if you want to learn more from me, and want to be surrounded in a supportive group of eclectic witches, I highly recommend you join my Ink Spirit Coven. Yes, we just got done with prosperity magic. Next month, we're going to be going into types of witchcraft with a guided meditation, all that fun stuff. So you can head to inkedspirit.com to learn more about the coven and join there. I would love to have you. I want to thank all of you for listening to my podcast, for giving me a platform to share my experiences, my journey, my witchy tips, all that good stuff. Please like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff, because it gets the podcast out to new magically curious people just like you. So thank you for being here, and I will see you all next week. Bye. If you're looking for a magical community where you can just be yourself, check out my Ink Spirit Coven. The Coven is an online learning circle for eclectic witches who want to learn new witchcraft practices and how to easily incorporate magic into their daily lives, all while being supported on their personal spiritual journey. And you'll have me as your magical mentor, sharing my knowledge, answering questions, and facilitating the online community. Head to inkspirit.com to learn more and join. And if unique witchcraft supplies made by witches for witches is just what you need, head to my store, inkgoddesscreations.com, to see what we have to enhance your magical practice. We also have the Ink Goddess Creations box, a monthly subscription of magic mail filled with exclusive items that fit a magical theme. Head to the site to see this month's theme and sneak peeks.